Shadowver.
Greetings, I'm Shad.
And greetings, I'm Tyranth.
Tyranth, there's a new kid on the block.
There's a couple of them, actually.
There actually is. And this one is a contender.
It is.
Like, unironically. So, we have a quest here on Shadowversity, a long-standing quest, where we are trying to find the best quality medieval swords at the lowest prices. And we've had some pretty surprising stuff. Some that is crap, some that has really impressed us. The price range for an actual good, decent medieval sword, right, where you're at least needing to start to begin with, has usually been around $300 to $400 US.
Mm-hmm. We've recently had a mix-up in that. We've had the Temu, which was under $100 US, and it was fantastic for the price range.
For a basic sword.
A basic sword, but that isn't a price range because there's only one.
Yes.
So
and
there's not multiple.
Through us, I've never found such a cheap sword like that. That was so well made. But the thing is, though, it is very basic. If you want to step it up to get like an actual nice looking long sword, usually you're still within that $300 to $400 range.
And we reckon our working theory is the reason why it was so good is because the place that are making these blades probably also made that blade.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So then I noticed a new sword retailer. I don't know how new they are, honestly, but
I'm pretty sure we've done stuff from them.
Have they?
Yeah.
So Swordier.com. They are a place that sells swords. And perusing, I don't know how I came across them, but I saw that, there's some more medieval swords on this website than I've noticed, or other sites. Because this is a more kind of selling Chinese-made swords.
Katana stuff.
A lot of katana stuff.
We're seeing a lot of katana retailers kind of dipping their toes into more medieval stuff, which doesn't sound good, but is actually really good because it means that we're going to get some quality swords at the price ranges that you can get like cheap katanas at.
Because we've reviewed some really impressive katanas that are in the like $200 price range. And that's usually because there's more standardized manufacturing processes in place. And a katana is a more standardized type of sword. And it was hard to find, is there a medieval equivalent? Well, on Swordier, they had a whole range of swords that were in the $200 price mark. And I was like, you have my interest. Are these things any good? So I reached out to them and said, we want to find out if these swords are good. Will you send us some? And they did. And so these are sent to review, but as you know, we don't pull our punches here. And from initial inspection, this is one of the ones that they sent us here, holy crap.
So these come in at time of recording, because obviously there's a whole bunch of tariffs and shipping and all that sort of stuff. $289 US for this sword with the scabbard.
With the scabbard.
It's a leather covered scabbard. It's got brass fittings. We've got steel pommel and crossguard. And if you look at this blade, this is nice.
This is a banging blade. Like we are seeing precision machining and lines on this, and oh boy.
Coming with the scabbard is also a huge bonus. Obviously, this is a thing we've spoken about. You can get an expensive sword and you have to buy the scabbard separately.
Yep.
Stuff like that. This coming with a scabbard that is full leather. I don't know if it's genuine leather. It feels good.
It feels good.
It might just be a high quality PU leather. I'm not sure. But one thing that I really like about this, apart from a whole bunch of other stuff that I like about it, the weight on this.
Like,
this is properly made.
This is another side to medieval swords that in the past people have just failed at dramatically.
I have an example here.
Indeed we do. Medieval swords have very precise engineering and design to be functional. There's a lot of complexity to get a properly balanced, functional medieval sword.
This sword here, it's obviously all rusted, destroyed, because we hate it.
Yes.
This was like a $500 sword.
Yeah.
I checked the price of this thing because I was just curious. It is trash.
It is a piece of crap.
I wouldn't even pay $50 for this. It is horrible, and this cost like $500. But that was back then.
Back then. We have come a long way.
Yeah.
Where now you get what it looks to be a really good quality, precision designed longsword. This is like right off the Oakshott typology. It looks like an 18C, yep. Right? With leather scabbard, machined fittings that are precise and looks gorgeous. And we are at $289 for this sword.
I know it's hard because we're obviously doing a review. It's hard to stress this, but the weight and the feel of this is fantastic. Sometimes swords can look great on camera, but this feels incredible. One or two hand, doesn't matter. Now, we're going to do our testing. We're going to destroy it. Well, one of them. Something we should mention probably off the bat is this type of blade geometry is a slicer. This is like a cutter. You know, in competition cutting, you're going to use something like this, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. That means that it has a very thin edge. So this will probably take a lot of damage, I reckon, just because of the blade geometry.
Yeah, the blade, like 18Cs are usually very thin on the blade, on the edges, right? And you like, look at this. Ooh, let's get the focus in. Because like, look at this, right? I mean, now it's got a wider base, and so it gets quite thin towards the edges. So I am actually genuinely intrigued to see how tough this will hold up. Because that's the thing, like, all right, is this an illusion? Is all the surface dressing just polished and it's a crap functional sword? That's why we need to break it.
I don't know, man. It has a peen. These are
properly peened. Feeling good.
Feels so good. And if a sword feels this good, I don't know, man. I'm excited for this one. Do you want to get to our cutting?
Yes, but before we do, we should give some comparisons so people know what's in the price range. Because, look, 7 to 10 years ago, to get a sword this quality, no joke, $500 to $700. You saw the piece of crap that was selling for $500, right? So actually, no, $700 to $1,000 almost.
Yep.
It's crazy that you can get a sword that is this well made and all down, right down to the geometry and weight and everything for $200. And look, it's a bit under $300. Let's be honest about that.
If you're also curious what's in the price range, from my memory, I'm pretty sure, I think it's Topeka has recently launched something similar. I think they have it called Athena. If I'm wrong, I'll pull up some things and show where I'm wrong. There's also the Baylor Arms one, which is more expensive. I'm pretty sure that's in the $400 range. So I'm talking specifically about 18Cs. If you want, because these are not like a common, like this is not a common blade geometry either.
No.
But yeah.
So in terms of just other longswords in this price range, okay, the comparable one is actually the Tinker longsword. Very common, well-known longsword. Great blade on them, but it is quite plain. There's not a huge amount of bells and whistles on it, but you'll get that for around, what, $230 or $40, about that. And so this is only a little bit more expensive, and it pops. And like the scabbard on the Tinker is plain as anything.
Yeah, it's a very bare minimum blade, and it's had issues with its strength. Also, the cold steel competition cutter. I'm pretty sure that's in a similar price range, and it's an 18C.
Yeah, and that's what you can currently kind of look at. Again, go back 7 years, a lot more expensive. The fact that this is in a similar price range, but looks gorgeous. It does come, as you'll probably see, if you don't know, this is called a rain guard. That's actually a proper historical fitting for a sword. And
I hate them.
I don't like them.
I've just never liked them. I don't like the look of them.
Look, personal preference. If you like them, we're going to try and remove it off one of the swords that we're going to break, just to see.
You want to do it right now? We got the knife right there.
Let's cut with it first and stuff. But it sits over the scabbard to prevent rain from dripping down in. It's a real thing, and you might like it, might not. I would prefer it without, because the crossguard under this thing. It's like, look at that, those lines. That's gorgeous. Ay. And that's one of the things that usually swords in this price range, they kind of skip out, because they make cheaper crossguards that can either be water jet cut out or something like that, where to get the shaping, and geometry like that.
Yeah. Look at this. Without, I haven't taken it off, but look how beautiful this sword looks without the rain guard on it. Still there, but when you put it on, I just
It blocks one of the nicest features. That kind of pointed central ridge is so nice. It's my favorite feature of medieval sword, style of crossguard. And look, at least the rain guard has some pattern to it. It's not like this totally ugly thing.
I have been having a bit of an issue. This is just something if you put it in, for example, that's stuck.
Well,
if you put it in the scabbard kind of wrong, because there's a little bit of play, so you got to take it back out and put it back in.
But that kind of shows that it's quite well fitted. It's not loose. You'd prefer one that gets slightly gripped than one that gets too loose.
But I'm saying all I have to do is do it like that, and it's going to get stuck. Like what I'm saying is these are just little things that you'll notice. It's not perfect is what I'm saying, which for this price range, you're not going to get perfect.
I mean, genuinely, this is the same quality as $700 swords.
Let's break it first. Let's break it
That's
before
true.
we say that.
But there have been expensive $700 swords that haven't been performed great either. But before we continue, let me tell you about this week's exclusive Shadowversity episode, where we have an in-depth discussion on whether a blunt blade is actually more dangerous than a sharp one. Is that even true? To get access to this episode, as well as all the exclusive content that we are making weekly for our supporters, all you have to do is contribute as little as $1 a month through Subscribestar, Patreon, or channel memberships, and you get it all. And it is only thanks to our supporters that we're able to continue making this content, so thank you very much, and do sign up to get the answer to this very interesting question. I reckon you'd be able to do some really nice sheath cuts with this one.
Maybe. These types of blades, like we said, these are like actually what you use to cut.
Yeah.
You go in competitions, you're going to use like an 18C. Beautiful blade geometry for it. Tatami on these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So in our video where we're replying to Let's Ask Shogo, where he talks about, I forget now, difference between straight and curved blades, we discover something that they're like...
Discover's not the right word, Shad.
We did!
You realised.
That's a discovery, Tyranth!
No, everybody else knows.
Not everyone! What is this? Oh man, this feels nice already. Especially as soon as you grab that two hands, the control.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
Why?
Because it might suck.
It's not going to suck. That thing's sharp. It's beautifully balanced.
All right.
It's
low effort. I'm not putting muscle into it. I want the blade to do the work. Just coming down. Going further down. just a flick. I'm just flicking.
So, the reason, like we said, why these swords are so good at cutting is because the blade geometry is just absolutely gorgeous for this sort of application, right? But what is going to interest me more is what comes after this, where we have
durability.
To test the durability. Because there's trade-offs that are being made here.
Yes. Now, the other trade-off, like when you get swords that are like this thin, though they're thin on the edge, the ridge actually isn't that bad. It has a very gorgeous distal taper. Like, look, see how it's flexing more at the tip than the base? That means it's thicker down here, and it retains that thickness more before it starts to distal taper down to the point.
Yes, but the edges are still super
Yes, they are. But that is precision kind of design work on a sword. Usually people think, distal taper, thinner towards the thing. They just start here and it gets thinner consistently throughout, where a refined distal taper is like, no, it retains its thickness and then it gets to about here and then it starts to go down more. So,
yeah, a sword made for Shad, just so he can do them.
Screw you. Aha. Oh, gee. That one was good. That was very good, that one. All right, and low effort, one. Woo.
Got another half. Keep going.
Oh, boy. And this edge seems to be sharper than the other edge. So there is that. We should test some thrusting. I want to get a more consistent thrusting medium. Because that's something that swords don't get enough credit on if they're built for thrusting like this thing is. Look at that point, dude.
It's aggressive, yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
And the thing that's hard to get across to camera is how nice the balance is, and even the handle. It's just a beautiful thickness. It's got an octagonal type shape to it.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Like, this is nice.
And what I like about this, so we haven't gotten to the other blade yet, but the other blade it's a longsword, right? I don't like how it feels in one hand. This is like, in one hand, perfection. In two, also perfection. The other one was a bit clunky.
Yeah.
We'll save that for the other review, but it's just interesting the difference between the two of them.
Yeah, that one will be coming out, but you get to see what that sword is in the exclusive sneak peek.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice. We only have... See the bastard sword, right? It is a very chunky blade. I wouldn't call it an 18C, but it's very similar in terms of like the overall shape.
Yes. It's thick at the base.
Yeah, I actually like it better because it's stronger than this and it has a more robust edge, but the 18Cs are still some of my favorites.
This is made to be a laser.
Yeah.
Like if you sharpen this to shaving sharp, it might be one of the best cutting swords we have. The fact that it's cutting this well with, it's the higher end of medium sharpness is impressive.
Yeah, and handle feels great, feels solid. Because yeah, it's not really that sharp. It's really actually not that sharp. I think it's just all blade geometry. So thin.
You look at that, look at that.
I think that's an interesting point to bring up.
Yep.
Not that sharp.
And it's cutting great.
Fantastic.
Oh, it makes me wonder what it'll be like if it was shaving sharp. This would be crazy.
Or even just with tatami.
Yeah.
This is the perfect sword for it.
Oh boy, so people often credit the katana as being like a uniquely good cutting sword. I think this beats katana geometry, but where it might fall down is durability then.
Yes. Katanas are one of those swords that most people can cut with. They just lend themselves to it. They're very good at it. This is the European equivalent, I would say, personally, in terms of like the effectiveness of the cut.
Yes.
This has a higher skill ceiling though, I would say. But also, I would say that about most European swords anyway.
This would be more unforgiving than a standard katana. That's thinner, so that means more flex, which means if you've got bad edge alignment, it's going to be messy, whereas a katana, bad edge alignment, it's thicker, it's stiffer. You will usually still be able to get a good cut even with slightly poor edge alignment.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you ready to go hit some hard things?
Let's hit some hard things. Before we destroy it, a couple of important things to get out of the way. All right, how much do you think this weighs?
1.1.
1. Gee, damn it, that's what I was going to... So, all right, my technical side says 1.2, but I've been wrong before, and this is such a, like a, I guess...
There's no excess to it.
Exactly, that makes me think 1.1, but let's find out. That is very surprising. What?
I reject this.
You're like...
That's not possible, man.
How?
It's literally light as a feather.
You know what that means? It's the weight distribution and balance. It feels much lighter than what it is because it's so...
like a 1 kilo sword.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. That means, literally, the refinement of this sword is so well done and precise. Like, we had to do it twice just to make sure that we're not 1.4.
That's wild.
What the hell?
Because in one hand,
Like
that's crazy. No. Yep.
It
All right.
just...
All right. Yeah. All right. You want to cut off the rain guard? Well, because what we're trying to find out here is if we remove the rain guard, right? Is it going to rattle after the fact? And is it going to make it? Is it one of those things you have to have?
Yeah.
Which I would personally not be.
I reckon leave it there because because if it is going to rattle, that's going to affect the durability testing.
It is. I think this one is fitted all the way to
Fitted all the way to the thing. So the thing is though, look how much nicer that looks.
Yeah, that's the problem though, Shad, because I want it off, but that means if you want to take it off, it's going to ruin the alignment of everything.
Possibly.
So you kind of like cut it off and maybe like, I don't know, color the leather in that area.
Yeah, cut it black. That could actually work. If you get in with a
Sharpie.
Like something real thing, and get it really tight in and cut off all the excess. And I reckon even just a permanent black marker would stain it, and you would even see it.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing. Like this is complicated because they've made it good, but I don't like that because then I can't remove it because I don't like them.
I think I might do this with our other sword though.
How's that? Bending?
That held up like a beast.
Did
and not only
nice?
that, it felt all right.
Okay, all right. Still nice and tight though.
It is.
All right, we'll do one hand first. You good?
Yep. How is that?
We bent up near the, it's a slight bend.
Slight bend?
Yeah. But like, it feels all right. It's up towards the top portion of the blade.
That's tiny.
Yes, but it's there.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Wow, hold up. That is still solid. That's impressive.
It is.
Whew. Good job on the peen.
Yeah. It felt pretty good as well. Kind of like the Topeka. A little worse than the Topeka.
Yeah, the Topeka was shockingly solid.
Yeah, it was like an axe.
Yeah.
That was still very respectable.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do the next one though.
Well, you can barely see. This might have been knotted already because I think I noticed this before we started. That's tiny. That's like not even worth mentioning tiny.
It is worth mentioning because that's the whole point of a review.
Not if it's that small.
It's still there.
Like, I'm impressed by that.
Yep.
I'm impressed.
Steel?
Steel.
Steel.
We want to test something out before we get to the steel pipe, and that is thrusting against the tire. Now, I reckon it'll blast through the rim like pretty easily.
Because it's soft.
It's soft, but the tread has metal wire in. We're not going to get through. So this is going to be more of a test to see the flex and durability of this sword. But it's so thin.
Yeah.
I'm actually not surprised.
Well, that's why, like I said, it's hard to kind of judge whether it's the quality of the steel or the blade geometry.
Because that is super thin.
So thin, yeah.
Oh, gee, so it is interesting. So resistive material, you can run into trouble with that. Soft material, because again, steel wire in that thing.
Yeah.
I reckon Gambison it would blast through without any danger. All right, metal pipe. Just because the blade's so thin,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do one solid one and inspect damage right away. Okay? Not bad.
Keep going.
All right, everyone, people, you be the judge. To me, Romance of Men damage on pipe versus this Swordier longsword.
Hold on a second, I haven't hit it yet. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is the Messer.
That's twice as bad.
But we also did the chain with this.
That's true.
So we did a little bit extra because it was crap. Then we have, I don't know, Master something, replicas.
Museum replicas,
Yeah.
Crusader sword, held up like a beast.
These here, because we have some gouges, that's actually from a video. These here are actually the steel pipe damage.
And that's some of the highest resistance that we've seen that we've only kind of get on the very best.
But then we also had the Shamshir, barely any damage.
Shamshir was impressive.
We've also had, what else is there? Some of the other spring steel stuff. Like that's a bit of damage, man.
It's well within tolerance.
We do crazy stuff.
All right, you have a go and we'll come back to it. Not as bad as the Messer, and only, all right, so this one here, slightly worse than Romance of Men, but still impressive in my mind.
All right, flat.
Flats. That does not sound good.
Ooh, that is springy as a motherfucker.
Yeah, did not like that. Whew.
Got an S curve.
Thin sword.
Yeah.
That's.
But what I find funny is that it's bent one way and then the tip is bending the other way. It's kind of like snaking.
It's the vibration then that's really hammering that blade.
Yeah, that is very weak on side strikes.
Okay.
Like extremely.
Yeah, that is actually pretty weak, but I expected.
Well, this is the thing, is like, this is a complicated one because of the blade geometry itself.
Yes.
The handle held up pretty well.
Only slight rattling after all that.
Just before we take it apart, we're gonna really, really quickly smash this sword into this sword just to see what the edge damage is like with edge on edge, essentially. This sword is obviously a lot stronger. Like, it just has a more robust blade profile in general. Holy.
Look at
Thin.
that. That shows you just how kind of thin it is up at this point right here. Where did you hit it?
I don't know.
You can barely, like,
Yeah.
that shows you, because this was one of the tougher blades that we've reviewed.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Wow.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, wow.
All right, I'm gonna hit it kind of in the thinner part real quick.
Right there. That's a decent. Interesting.
There's a lot to talk about. First thing I want to mention is the rain guard. The rain guard actually was able to be taken off. It was just like a tiny little bit extra more than we had cut,
Yep.
and it would have been able to come off. And how they've done it is that it wouldn't affect the
Yeah,
alignment.
it's not sandwiched between the actual handle and cross guard. It's inset in.
Yeah.
Which means that our worry that there might be give or leeway with the leather. No, that's not the case at all. And so that's an extra
That's a
point.
good thing.
That's a good thing in terms of its construction.
All right, let's get to one of the really big negatives, and that is the cross guard, super duper soft and easy to break. So it took a huge set just from those strikes we did over there. And then when I was trying, like they were not even on the cross guard.
It's with a mallet though. Would it have been like this with a sword?
No, that was with a rubber mallet.
Still, a rubber mallet has more mass than a sword blade.
No. I've never had a cross guard bend under a rubber mallet. Not one, ever. That was very soft and very easy to move around.
Okay, so yeah, we have had stronger ones. That's absolutely for
So this
sure.
cross guard, not really very strong.
Pity, because it's nice.
It's a nice cross guard.
We've discovered some things though.
Yeah.
This handle is what, polyurethane, you'd say?
So,
It's plastic.
So, like we said earlier, there's some interesting things because it has some things in common with the Temu sword. From when I was melting it, it behaved and it feels very similar to something like a Delrin or polypropylene. So this is like stuff we use in training swords. Completely robust. It's not going to break. Then we get into the really...
Just on that, it's actually probably stronger than wood.
Yeah.
And I am completely okay with that. This is not a negative on the sword that they have a plastic handle. In actual fact, that's probably one of the reasons they've got the price so low on this, because by using a plastic, they can just spit them out. A medieval handle, right, has very complex geometry to it, very complex shaping, especially with the risers and everything like that. To make it out of wood, and then you need to get a cord wrap and then leather wrap over top, is a lot of work. But they just skip all that with a plastic handle and you get the shape and contour you want. Also, this is a thin handle.
Yeah,
and
very thin handle.
I think they've achieved that because they don't need a cord wrap underneath to get the risers and textures. And so they can actually get it that thin by virtue of the methods that they're making it out of. I am perfectly fine with it.
Well, it's an impact plastic. It's it's actually used in trainer swords, so I have no problem with it at all. It's just obviously it has that bit of that ugly 3D printed texture on it, which you're not going to see. When I first took off the leather, because we pulled the leather off, it has a very clear and distinct 3D printed texture.
I'm actually kind of impressed.
Okay, all right. So on average, I think this is definitely worth the money.
Yeah.
A lot of the issues that we have with like destruction and things like that, like we said right at the beginning, it's kind of complicated because the blade geometry itself is just really kind of...
This is made to be a thin cutter.
Yeah, it's not that strong.
But for it being a thin cutter, my impression is that it is more than adequately durable for its geometry. And I'm impressed.
Where are you thinking on the rating board?
I think it's a bit softer on the overall hardness.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about on the actual rating out of...
Rating board, we'll end off on the rating board where we give this. So what's that?
So we're in around a Rockwell hardness of around 50.
Around 50.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not terrible, actually.
Yeah. Like 45, we've still got a little bit of gripping, but it's sliding mostly. So in between a 45 to 50 for
That's
the hardness.
actually solid. I was expecting it to be a bit softer than that. Okay.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
That's not bad.
Out of 10.
Let's go to the rating board.
All right.
Let's do it over there.
Let's do it.
It impressed me quite a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so out of the gate, I'm on 7 or 8 out of 10 territory.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Like
That's
that's
fair.
fine, somewhere in there.
But the question is, all right, is it a 7 or a 8? As good as Romance of Men Katana.
What does as good mean though? You know what I mean?
All right, for what it's meant to be a very good cutter. It's an 18C. Overall finish quality. I actually think the fitting and quality and finish is superior to Romance of Men $180 katana.
I don't think so. I think the reason you're saying
I think
that's 'cause
I think
you
the fittings are a little cheaper.
Yeah, you like them more though. You don't like katanas as much.
No, but I'm talking about the actual material quality, like the wrap. Yeah, so this is the one right here where we abuse it to high heaven, right?
Like that's perfectly fine. That's great.
Actually, they're pretty equivalent.
Yeah, like
They're pretty equivalent. Okay. Blade quality. Yeah.
this is why it's such a problem though, is because is the steel good or bad? I can't really give you an answer because the blade profile itself is also not conducive to those sorts of tests.
Yeah. From the durability we got out of it for it being so thin, I believe it is good quality steel. That's my opinion on it.
The tip rolled very quickly.
The tip is an odd one.
Yeah, that was
It is an
very
odd
soft.
one. But the handle overall,
And I'm not happy with the strength of the crossguard.
but the handle held together stronger than the Romance of Men katana did.
Yeah.
It's more durable
technically,
in
yeah.
terms of holding and not rattling.
Yeah, I'd probably put it around an 8.
8 out of 10,
I think that's fine. You
which
just-
is a really good rating.
Yeah, you just got to remember what you're using it for. What are you using this sword for?
Okay, that's damn impressive. And like, it's $289. It's not the best. It's in the affordable range, but it's not the best price in the affordable range we've seen. Like, getting it under 200 is really impressive, but they didn't achieve it with this.
Yeah. 8 out of 10?
8 out of 10. Holy crap! Now, if you are interested in the sword, we do have affiliate link in the description. It'll lead you right to it. And now I'm really interested in the next Swordier sword because we've got another one to review.
We do have another one. It has a longer handle. It has a different, the peen is also different. So when we take that one apart, I'm just really mad right now. I'm so mad at this bloody sword. This is annoying for
Because he
somebody
couldn't
like
get it open.
And this is,
It's defeated him.
no, it hasn't, not yet. I haven't finished yet. We're just doing this part. This is annoying.
I think this is better quality than the Romance of Men Saya.
Yeah? Yes, but there's caveats, because they're different things.
They are, but a good medieval scabbard is harder to make than a good Japanese Saya. I'm sorry. Oh boy, they're still 8 out of 10, but we have a hierarchy now.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a fun one.
It was great fun, and
We have another one from them coming soon.
yeah. I'm impressed. I'm like, I want to see more now. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.